Today we will be presenting the impacts of Disney and other fictional characters on the youth.
So we'd like to start with a poll. Raise your hand if you've ever seen or interacted with any of these Disney princesses. Anybody?
Right. Most kids grow up watching and idolizing these fictional characters. According to Nielsen Co., a company that studies what children watch, listen, and read, most children watch a substantial amount of TV per week. Therefore, these characters play a major role in shaping their present and future lives.
The specific topic we will be exploring today is whether the effects of such characters positively or negatively influence the youth, starting with expectations of life.
So let's start talking about love. Most women have the false expectation of love and which man to give their heart to. So in the Disney company, couples are mostly sweet and romantic and all nice, and it's what most women want. So whether it's with Lady and the Tramp or with Ellie and Carl from Up. But a love that's not really mentioned a lot is sacrifice. So in Entangled, Flynn Rider decides to cut Rapunzel's hair to save her instead of saving himself. So this gives the mindset of, if I'm not as connected as Barbie and Ken are, then my relationship won't last. So Mushu tells Mulan, you risk your life to help people you love. I risk your life to help myself. At least you had good intentions. This shows that Mulan ends up risking her own life to save not only her father, but all of China just to save, because she loved him. So another false expectation are how the saying is, good is the fairest of them all. So most of the villains in any cartoon, any movie are ugly, whether they're old, whether they're fat, or just plain ugly. They're always ugly, except, because they're the villain. They don't have the same body type or personality as the main protagonist of the film, thus making them the villain. So this is with all movies except for one, which is the fabulous Gaston. He has the looks, the build, the everything, except for the personality. That makes him the villain.
So besides the kids' perception on life, Disney princesses also have a significant impact on the kids' behavior. For example, they help enforce gender and racially discriminatory behavior. Here you see a quote from a distraught mother worrying about her daughter's behavior, and she is not alone. Peggy Orenstein, an award-winning author and journalist, explains in her book her concerns about the influence of Disney princesses on her daughter and how they've affected her. Her book is called Cinderella Ate My Daughter, Why I Hope for a Boy, and she explains how Disney princesses have created gender roles which her daughter, as well as other young girls, are constantly pressured to fit. Here you see a comparison between the female and male gender norms enforced in many Disney princess movies. You can see that the female characters are presented as much more melodramatic and submissive compared to their male counterparts. An example of this is in the infamous tale of Cinderella, where Cinderella reacts to her stepsisters ruining her dress by throwing herself upon a bench and bursting into tears. Then later in the story, Prince Charming comes in and saves the melodramatic princess by, falling in love with her beauty. So this emphasizes the gender norms because the princess is portrayed as a damsel in distress when waiting for her prince to come in and save her. So racial discrimination is also evident in Disney princess movies, and just Disney movies in general. For example, in the heart-touching story of Dumbo, the crows are meant to represent black people. So this is emphasized through, so these are the crows, and this is emphasized through the crows' Southern African-American accent, and their leader is named Jim Crow after the laws that brought segregation to the South. And throughout the movie, they're loud and obnoxious, supposedly reflecting the nature of African Americans. So this false stereotype is also emphasized in the Centaur and Fantasia and the Apes in the Jungle Book. So both the racial and gender stereotypes and discrimination that the Disney movies teach these kids will negatively impact their future as they pressure the kids to be more hateful and even to change themselves.
Like the behavior of kids, we have the effects of body image on the youth. Now, there's been a huge amount of popularity towards the irrational bodies of the princesses, since body image is a huge topic in today's society. Now, we've all seen at least one Disney princess movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Well, in those movies, the princesses look absolutely stunning, though they have that perfect body, right? So, in that, while watching these Disney princess movies, growing up watching them, the kids start to feel like they want to look like them, which can be impossible because of their body and how they look. With the tiny waist, long necks, their beautiful long hair, and their small wrists. Okay. I've always been inspired by cartoons and Disney movies, all the curves and tiny waists, said by a woman named Pixie Fox, who spent over $120,000 on plastic surgery to look like cartoon characters. The cartoon characters, she said that since she's always grown up watching those cartoon movies and all that, caused her to change herself and alter by getting plastic surgery to look perfect, since that's what Disney princesses idolize. While some people don't have enough money, they tend to try out of the ordinary diets, which can lead to some serious problems of eating disorders like anorexia, bulimia, or body dysmorphia.
So with the negative impacts that body image has had on the kids, companies decided that a change needs to be made in both body representation and other aspects of their products. For example, in 2016, Mattel released the Barbie Fashionista collection, which features 4 skin tones, 10 body types, 22 eye colors, and 24 hairstyles, in hopes of being more representative of girls around the world. Also, in 2014, Nicolay Lamb introduced his own doll, Lamely, which was made in mind with the proportions of an average 19-year-old American woman. As well as having more accurate body measurements, you can also purchase Lamely marks that show imperfections such as acne, stretch marks, grass stains, and mosquito bites. So in the 1990s, Disney introduced the warrior princess persona, with one of these princesses being Mulan. While in disguise as a soldier in place of her father, Mulan falls for her general Shang. However, it wasn't because he rescued her. Rather, the pair fell in love due to their equal bravery and passion for their country. Also in 2016, when Disney released Mulan, throughout Moana's entire mission to save her island and her people, there was not a single reference to a love interest for her, signifying that there is not a need for a girl to have a man be the rescuer or be an aided rescue. For minority characters changing from becoming supporting to more of the main focus, the Barbie Fashionistas are an example here too. With a diverse line of skin tones, children can become more exposed to people and cultures other than their own. For Lynette Orsier, a mother from Oak Creek, Wisconsin, who purchased 5 of these dolls for her 7-year-old daughter, it wasn't for how she would reflect on herself, but for how she would come to view others. As well, in 2009, Disney released The Princess and the Frog with a young African-American woman as the lead role. With the release of this film, children of minority races have a powerful, prominent role model to look up to and inspire them. However, the changes that have been made haven't been enough, which leads us to our first solution of improvement. Improvement will follow the basis of the changes that have been made over time while eliminating the negative aspects. Some benefits of this solution are greater body representation, more diverse and gender diversity, and a change in focus from women relying on men to relying on themselves. Some flaws are that it's idealistic, which means it takes a lot of time, it's time consuming, and it's also unpredictable. And some flaws are that it's costly, it's a long process, and it also calls for a lot of change.
So for our second solution, we decided to ban all Disney and all cartoons in general. So this eliminates like the negative impacts and the set of standards that are shown with Disney princesses. And it also like benefits the kids because they're not having these thoughts. The flaws would be that it's an extreme change and it removes entertainment for not just children but adults as well. And then limitations would be that it's like a major backlash from fans and the franchises will fall apart, which means that people will not be employed anymore.
And our last solution we wanted to propose is to leave it as is. And some pros to that is that there's no major change that's required. It's not costly and it's feasible. Some flaws is it doesn't solve the issue of the youth being negatively impacted, and it also allows the opportunity for more harmful qualities to grow. And there will be no limitations since no change is required. Is occurring.
So our final solution, we've decided that solution 1, which is improvement, is the best solution as it maintains the entertainment aspect of Disney movies and other fictional characters, but it also fixes the negative impacts that Disney princesses as well as other characters have on the kids. Although this solution will take a long and costly process, the end result is the most desirable compared to the other solutions.
And then our citations.
Okay.
Alright. So Abby, now that the project is finished, what do you consider your gap in your research?
I think something that we could have expanded more on is the psychological, because we figured out how it affects them, but we didn't figure out exactly why. So just.
Okay. So, what is an example of a compelling argument from one of your peers' individual reports that you decided to exclude from your presentation?
Okay, so in Anisia's report, she talked about how Disney princesses allow kids to believe in magic, and how kids will then, do all these things that under the belief that magic is real. And although her argument was very strong and was compelling and would have applied to our presentation, we decided to leave it out because it was not as strong in proving how Disney princesses are negatively impacting the children. And it does show like the impact and how they believe in, how they believe in magic influences their life significantly. But then overall, most kids get over that belief, and so it does not negatively significantly impact any of them.
Alright. Reflecting on any of your team members' work, which one had the greatest impact on your overall understanding of the problem?
I want to say Carlos did about body image, because of the fact that I've actually been through, well, I haven't done those things, but I have felt like insecure because of the fact that I didn't look exactly like these Disney princesses. And I watched Disney like all my life. It's been a part of my life forever. And just the fact that I can, not knowing that it's not, well, I know it's not just me, but the fact that it's more than just a few people who feel the same way.
Alright, so, Carla, what about Roshin's perspective did you decide to include into the overall presentation?
From Rashin's, well, Rashin talked about the, Rashin talked about the, I'm blanking out, the behavior of kids. So I felt like we included it because we wanted to know how they acted even though they watched the movies, and how they reacted when they're so young, and how they changed over time, like Addie's. So it all kind of came into place as it went along.
Okay, thank you.